the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
73rd IB assists 62 former rebels in amnesty application in Sarangani. AFP activates Joint Sustainment Command to boost operations. Super Typhoon Nando causes power outages across Luzon. PBBM condemns violent protest action in Manila.
Hello to everyone, especially to our troops at Camp Emilio Ginaldo in Quezon City. Today is Tuesday, September 23, and this is AFP Committee News, your source for the updates on the armed forces and other developments across the country. I am Rofh Suzon-Abay here to bring you today's stories.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
For the brief overview of our news, the 73rd Infantry Battalion facilitated the amnesty application of 62 friends rescued in Malapatan, Sarangani Province. The initiative offered former rebels a chance to restore their legal status, access livelihood support, and reintegrate into mainstream society. The joint effort involved the local Amnesty Board Coronadal, Provincial Social Welfare Development Office, and the Public Attorney's Office to ensure both legal recognition and social services. Beneficiaries expressed gratitude, calling the program a new beginning anchored in peace and community progress.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The 8th Infantry Battalion, with support from other Army units under the 403rd Infantry Brigade, uncovered weapons depot of New People's Army in San Luis, Agusan del Sur, following information from a former rebel. Troops seized a 50 caliber Barrett rifle, RPG launcher, 2 AK-47 rifles, and RPK magazine, all with defaced serial numbers. 8 IB Acting Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel George Halorina credited the discovery to strong community cooperation and joint military efforts. He also urged the remaining rebels to surrender and stressed that the NPA's dwindling arsenal shows their weakening capacity to sow violence.
Armed Forces Radio.
And now let's hear more from Meljoy of 1st ERG about Kaugnay Division concludes that strengthening the Army leadership attributes of ROTC students in 7th ID.
Yes, Rofh, the 7th Infantry Kaugnay Division Philippine Army, through its Office of the Assistant Division Commander for Service and Retiree Affairs, concluded this year's Strengthening the Army Leadership Attributes of the Reserve Officer Training Corps students in 7th Infantry Division Series of 2025 at 7th Infantry Division Headquarters, Fort Magsaysay, Palayan City, Nueva Ecija. SALAR 7 aims to enhance leadership skills of the 53 ROTC Corps commanders from Region 1 and 3 to capacitate them to champions of the government advocacy, to be frontliners in denying the recruitment of the communist terrorist group in their respective schools, and to encourage them to join to be part of the Philippine Army with the guidance of their respective coach mentors who are executive officers of Luzon-based brigades and battalion line units. The activity consisted of 2 phases, wherein the first phase was a series of online lectures and second phase involved visits to the Special Forces Regiment, Artillery Regiment, Aviation Regiment, and Light Reaction Regiment Philippine Army for capability demonstrations. The activity concluded with a rifle and pistol challenge at the 7th Infantry Division firing range, giving the students an opportunity to appreciate gun safety and gain hands-on experience in handling both pistols and long firearms. Colonel George M. Bergunya, MNSA Infantry Philippine Army Assistant Division Commander for Service and Retiree Affairs, commended the performance and enthusiasm displayed by the ROTC students throughout the activity. He challenged them to become catalysts of leadership and discipline in their schools and communities, thereby strengthening the reserve force and contributing to the Army's mission of nation building. This is Meljoy Nesho Arroco reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Meljoy of 1st ERG.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr. led the activation of the AFP Joint Sustainment Command in a ceremony in Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City yesterday. The new command, headed by Lieutenant General Ray Alemania, will unify logistics, personnel, and medical support services to strengthen joint operations. General Browner highlighted the AFP-JSC's role in streamlining sustainment capabilities to improve operational readiness. The activation marks a milestone in the AFP's transformation, ensuring efficient and effective support systems across the armed forces.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The 17th Infantry Battalion has placed its humanitarian assistance and disaster response team on alert in Cagayan due to Super Typhoon Nando. Troops are ready for immediate deployment to provide manpower and support in areas expected to be hardest hit by the storm. The battalion vowed to remain vigilant and committed in assisting communities during the calamity. Authorities urged the residents to follow safety advisories and stay updated on weather forecasts.
Armed Forces Radio.
From NOLCO, let us hear some information from Joanne about former rebel in Cagayan surrenders, reveals armed cache.
A former rebel who was part of the Militiang Bayan and a part-time member of the Communist Terrorist Group Cagayan Regional Committee voluntarily surrendered to authorities in Barangay Masi, Rizal, Cagayan and revealed the location of an armed cache in the area. The 17th Infantry Battalion facilitated the surrender of the former rebel through the MCSST of the 2nd Platoon of Bravo Company in coordination with barangay officials in situ groupings Barangay Masi. With the cooperation of the surrendered rebel, various war materials were discovered in situ Matanga, Barangay Masi, including 3 homemade shotguns gauge 12, 1 homemade pistol gauge 12, 2 40mm high explosive dual-purpose cartridges, 1 rifle grenade, and 1 commercial radio. The 5th Infantry Star Division assured that the surrendered rebel will be given opportunities for reintegration. This is John Sagak reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Joanne from NOLCO.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Brigadier General Alan Jose Taguba, the commander of the 701st Infantry Brigade, led the turnover of the 5.7-kilometer road opening project in Sitio Hinapaan, Barangay Poblacion, Lingig, Surigao del Sur. The 544th Engineering Battalion of the 52nd Engineer Brigade built the project with support from local government units and stakeholders, while the 67th Infantry Battalion secured the site during construction. Despite tough terrain and weather, the road was finished on time, boosting access, livelihood, and basic services in remote areas. Mayor Elmer Evangelio formally received the project alongside the Army officials and affirmed the military's role in peace and development.
DWDD National News.
And now for our national news, the onslaught of Super Typhoon Nando caused brownouts in several areas of Luzon, including parts of Batanes, Cagayan, Ifugao, Ilocos Norte, and Batangas. According to the National Electrification Administration, Batanes Electric Cooperative has faced a total power interruption, while partial power outages hit Cagayan 2 Electric Cooperative, Ifugao Electric Cooperative, Ilocos Norte Electric Cooperative, and Batangas 2 Electric Cooperative. The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, on the other hand, noted that Abra Electric Cooperative and Cagelco 2 are experiencing power fluctuations. The grid operator stated that the inspection and restoration of affected lines will proceed once weather conditions improve.
Armed Forces Radio.
Let us hear more updates from Shaira about MBLT 11 joins coastal cleanup to protect Palawan seas.
Yes, good afternoon. Marine Battalion Landing Team 11 took part in the International Coastal Cleanup Drive in Palawan, aligning with the theme, Clean Seas Against the Climate Crisis. In Balabac, the 11th Marine Company partnered with a local government unit and residents of Sitio Marabon, Barangay Bancalaan to clear marine litter at Marabon Island. Simultaneously, the 211th Marine Company led a cleanup in Rizal with the Coast Guard, reservists, LGU, and Philippine National Police to safeguard local ecosystems. These efforts highlighted MBLT 11's dual mission as both protectors of the nation and stewards of the environment. This is Shaya Rivera reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Shaira.
DWDD National News.
On the other hand, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. condemned the protest actions that turned violent in Manila City last Sunday. Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Attorney Claire Castro said that those involved would be held liable over their actions. She emphasized that the president is ready to respond to the call of the public. That's why he continues to respect human rights. She added that PBBM is not against huge protests in which the public expressed their anger against corruption. However, the administration and the president condemns the use of minors by these groups who are concealing their faces behind black masks.
DWDD National News.
Relatedly, Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla said that those involved in the violent protest action in Manila may face sedition charges. Remulla said there's arson, grave physical injuries, and they can go as far as sedition. He explained that their statement that they intend to burn the palace is a seditious act itself. The Manila Police District earlier said a group of hip-hop gangsters who claimed to have been influenced by a certain rapper was possibly behind the violence.
Armed Forces Radio.
On the other line, it deserves more from Marian about OCD car and Army reservists boost Typhoon Nando readiness.
The Office of Civil Defense Cordillera Administrative Region augmented disaster readiness by deploying Army reservists due to Super Typhoon Nando. Personnel from OCD CAR, Department of Social Welfare and Development, Philippine National Police, reservists and volunteers prepared relief goods at the Regional Interagency Warehouse in Tabuk City. The team unloaded 1,700 DSWD food packs for possible deployment to affected communities. The effort emphasized the whole-of-nation approach to disaster preparedness through combined manpower and logistics support. This is Marian reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Marian.
DWDD National News.
For other national news, Department of Information and Communications Technology Secretary Henry Aguda said that the group Anonymous PH was behind the Black Mask protest last Sunday. Aguda said this was based on the intelligence information gathered by the agency. For his part, Philippine National Police Chief Police Lieutenant General Jose Melencio Nartatis Jr. said that it is still being determined if what transpired in Manila City could be considered as an act of terrorism. Nartatis added, based on evidence, maybe it can lead to terrorism or violation of the Anti-Terrorism Act.
DWDD National News.
Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla vowed to press charges against individuals involved in violent incidents that marred Sunday's largely peaceful anti-corruption rallies in Metro Manila. The Department of the Interior and local government said that 216 individuals, including minors, were arrested for burning vehicles, throwing trucks and Molotov cocktails, and looting a nearby motel. Remulla described the rioters as anarchists who disrupted demonstrations against alleged corruption in flood control projects. He said the arrested minors could still face charges, with the Department of Social Welfare and Development assisting in their cases.
Armed Forces Radio.
From our reporter on the ground, let's hear the report of Kath about AFP hosts 68th AMI conference to strengthen faith and peace building. Go, Kath.
Yes, Rofh, good noon. The Armed Forces of the Philippines hosted the 60th Annual Conference and General Assembly of the Apostolate Militaire International at St. Ignatius Cathedral, Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City yesterday. Apostolic Nuncio to the Philippines, Most Reverend Charles Chan Brown, graced the event attended by military personnel, lay leaders, and Catholic community members. The gathering reaffirmed a shared commitment to uphold Christian values in the armed forces and advance peace, unity, and service to humanity. By hosting the conference, the AFP highlighted its role in global peace building and its holistic approach to nation building. This is Kat reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you so much, Kat.
DWDD National News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is willing to be investigated in relation to the contributions he reportedly received from contractors during the 2022 presidential polls. Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Attorney Claire Castro said the Commission on Elections should be allowed to do its duty on the matter. Castro added that the president is willing to be investigated. An earlier report from the Philippine Center for Investigative Journalism stated that Marcos and Vice President Sara Duterte had allegedly received tens of millions of pesos in campaign contributions from public works contractors.
DWDD National News.
Senator President Pro Tempore Panfilo Lacson said the Congress should be held primarily accountable for the systemic corruption in flood control projects because of the budget insertions were done by lawmakers. Lacson said Congress is the real scene here. He explained that if congressmen and senators did not insert funds, there would be no funds for corrupt Department of Public Works and Highways officials to play with, especially in the district engineering offices. Lacson also said that Pro will not stop at dismissing engineers Henry Alcantara and Bryce Hernandez, since construction owner Sally Santos and contractors Cesara and Pacifico Discaya II, all of whom have faced the panel.
Armed Forces Radio.
Some information from MJ about AFP stakeholders push reforms in third quarter MSGC meeting. Go ahead, MJ.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines convened its third quarter 2025 Multi-Sector Governance Council meeting at the Batasan Complex, Quezon City to reaffirm its commitment to reforms, transparency, and accountability. AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr. led discussions with council members from government, academe, civil society, and the private sector. The council reviewed milestones in digital modernization, human resource development, and defense governance innovations. General Browner stressed MSGC's vital role in sustaining the AFP transformation roadmap toward a modern and professional military. This is MJ reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you so much, MJ.
DWDD National News.
Malacanang said President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s aggressive push against corruption is key in protecting the country's investment climate. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro said investors are drawn to leaders who confront corruption head-on. She explained that investors want to invest in countries whose leaders fight corruption, whose leaders are willing to put in jail people who are corrupt, and that is what the president is doing right now. She cited Marcos's unprecedented move to order an investigation into alleged anomalies in flood control projects, even if this occurred under his own administration.
DWDD National News.
On the other hand, the Bureau of Customs has confiscated 2.39 billion worth of smuggled goods in 2 months. BOC Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno said the record seizures were done from July to August 2025. Customs records showed that more than half of the items confiscated were illegal drugs, or around 1.230 billion. The rest were 929 million worth of illicit cigarettes, tobacco and vape, and 178 million worth of agricultural products. Nepomuceno attributed the Bureau's successful anti-smuggling drive to strong intelligence and enforcement operations, non-stop crackdowns on illegal drugs, and other similar activities in the ports, as well as proper assessment of imported goods.
Armed Forces Radio.
More updates from Jimboy, second ID-backed citizenship training program in Calabarzon.
The 2nd Infantry Division pledged full support for the adoption of region-wide citizenship training program during the third quarter 2025 Regional Peace and Order Council for a meeting in Quezon. The program, endorsed by the Department of Education, aimed to instill civic consciousness, discipline, and patriotism among students. 2nd ID and Reserve Command Philippine Army Commander Major General Ramon Sagala stressed in importance to shaping responsible citizen and raising awareness on national security issues such as the West Philippine Sea. The 2nd ID and RPOC 4A reaffirmed their commitment to a whole-of-nation approach in sustaining peace and security across Calabarzon. This is Jimboy reporting for AFP Community News. One AFP for the stronger Philippines.
Thank you so much, Jimboy.
DWDD National News.
The Department of Agriculture has lifted its temporary import ban on poultry and related products from Israel and South Dakota in the United States. This follows the successful containment of recent avian influenza outbreaks in those areas. Agriculture Secretary Francisco Chu Laurel Jr. issued separate administrative orders ending the bans, which previously halted the entry of domestic and wild birds, poultry meat, day-old chicks, hatching eggs and semen for artificial insemination from the affected regions. Chu Laurel says these decisions are based on scientific evidence and international reporting standards to ensure both biosecurity and a stable supply of poultry products.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And that concludes today's broadcast, and thank you for tuning in, especially to our audience on AFP Radio, the DWDD's Facebook page. Be sure to join and catch us again tomorrow for more stories and updates, same time and same station. Once again, this is Rofh Suzon-Abay for AFP Community News. One AFP for stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Ito ang DWDD 1134 kHz AM. Balita, impormasyon at musika. Ito ang DWDD AFP Radio. Boses ng Kawal Pilipino.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.